I'm waiting for my coffee, getting ready to make my coffee. It's right in front of me here, but you can't see it. Anyway, first of all, it is good to be home. I had a really good trip. I'm really knackered, and I got a couple hundred clips to go through to edit. And over the next few weeks, you'll see this journey made into several videos. But before I start editing, I want to sit down and talk about what I experienced and what surprised me. Now, I was surprised. And you might be surprised at what I was surprised at, but I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been thinking about how I wanted to make different kinds of trips, not just some trip where I'm going on a trip. I want a journey that kind of is an adventure. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I have a reason for going. The theme of this was that I wanted to go. I wanted it to be an adventure, but also I wanted to look at World War II kind of from my grandfather's perspective and think about what it was like for him when he was in Myanmar. He didn't go to Thailand that I know of, but I just wanted to kind of think about it a little bit, and I just wanted to look around and think of it in a different way, not just like, oh, what were these people doing back then? I wanted to look at it from his standpoint as someone who came from Indiana. He was a small town boy. He was 21 years old and never been away from home, anything like that. Oops. And I wanted to look at it from somebody who was like, wow, I've never been anywhere, and here I am. He was in India and China and Burma. I want to look at it from that standpoint. So that's what I kind of did, and it kind of worked out. But before we get started, if you enjoy these kind of adventures or want to see more of them, I'd really appreciate it if you click the like button. It helps more people discover the channel. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and turning on the notifications so you don't miss any upcoming videos from this journey or whenever. But, YouTube is not always perfect about it, but at least if you turn the notification button on, they may notify you in advance. There are at least 5 or 6 episodes of this journey to come, and I think, honestly, it's going to be some of the best work that I've done. Now, I don't know, but we'll see. And if you'd like to help support the channel and make future projects like this possible, take a look at the links down below in the description, whether it's becoming a channel member, supporting me through Patreon, through Wise, through the CASHAPP, whatever. It all helps keep the adventures going, because I made it a point to myself that from now on I got to do that. I don't want to just sit there in front of the camera and just talk like I'm doing right now. I do all the time. Now let me give a shout out to Mr. Tim Dobbins, the newest paid member of this channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I got to answer a question that someone sent me. I don't think it's really all that difficult, but maybe to him he wants to be a nice guy or something like that. Let's see here. I got my little pour over here. But he says, hi there. So I have seen some of your YouTube videos and was wondering if you could help me with some advice. I'm currently in Khao Lak. I've had a suit tailored, and I've been asked by the vendor if I can take a meter of fabric back to the UK and forward it to another address in the UK on his behalf to save him on international shipping costs. My question is, does this sound safe? I've heard of fabric being infused with drugs. Any advice is welcomed. I'll just tell you straight out, I wouldn't do it. Not because of the drugs, but because it's a pain in the ass. You know, I mean, you've got to lug it over there, and it's only a meter. If it's only a meter, why can't he send it? If he can't pay the cost, then, you know, that's his problem. It's not yours. And you know, granted, he's making you a suit. Big deal. You're paying him for the suit. You know, I don't, not to be difficult about it, but yeah, you could bring it over there. Who knows what he's got? You have no idea what he's doing. You have no idea if he's putting something in the material, if he's stapling something to it that maybe you don't see or you don't know about. Who knows? But why risk it? Why take a chance? I mean, to me, it seems like so he can save. What do you get out of the deal? Oh, he gives me a better deal on the suit. Yeah, right. So I would say pass. Puff, puff, pass. That's what I would say. Anyway, now getting to this trip. You know, we got 15 people here. No one's come in and said hello, Sawatdee, how you doing, buddy? Nothing. Unbelievable. Yeah, hello. Hi. It strikes me as odd that I have to say to people, hey, you know, you can come in and talk. Nobody knows who you are unless you have your complete name there and it's actually you. Nobody knows. Nobody really cares. If you want to come in and talk about this or whatever, great. But it would be nice to have a little interaction. That's how I look at it, you know. I mean, I'm here for, it's called live. That's so that you can communicate with me through the chat. Now, what I could do, and I've thought about this in the past, is just turn the chat off and just talk and have people, you know, they can just listen. But I've always decided not to do it because what's the point of doing it if it's not something really special? I mean, you know, like if I was out hunting lions or something, I wouldn't be worried about the messages, but it'd be nice for you to see it, right, live. But I don't do that. So, you hear this? This is my neighborhood. Anyway, so I was wrong. That's the biggest thing. I was wrong. Allow me to explain. It's not because Pilok wasn't beautiful. It really was. It was a different, beautiful kind of place. But I was wrong because I went there expecting to find an old mining town. Because that's what Pilok is known for. Pilok, sorry. I always say it wrong, but it's Pilok. That's what it's known for. It's an old mining town. And what I found there was something very different. It's a quaint, charming town. It's not a mining town anymore. It is now a quaint mountain getaway, mainly for Thai tourists. The mining history is still there, but it no longer dominates the place or defines the place. And I wouldn't really say that they overhyped the mining aspect. Nobody's overhyping it. They're just stating the facts. In the past, it was an old mining town, and they mined tin and tungsten. They did. All the way up to about 1991. So, you know, it is what it is. It is an old mining town. That's not what it is now. Okay, and in fact, if you guys watched I think it was the last live stream, I'm walking around in this area and I'm thinking, where's the mine? I'm looking for a hole in the side of the mountain. Where is the mine? I'm looking around. I'm like, I can't find it. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, I went, 2 or 3 times and walking back and forth and I can't find the mine. And finally somebody said to me, I asked and somebody said, this is the mine. You're standing on it. So that was unexpected. I don't want to say it's disappointing because my perception doesn't necessarily mean that my perception is correct. But I thought it was a hole in the side of the mountain. Yeah, I went into the forest and I was looking for it. And I was like, should I just keep walking? I was like, what should I do? And I just thought, I already got my feet were all wet. They were wet the whole time I was there. I got these shoes and they're supposed to keep you a little bit dry. And I didn't get soaked, but my feet were a little damp. My socks were damp. They were stinky, which, I'm not the stinky guy. I don't like to be stinky. I understand if you're out in the forest and you're out hiking and you get a little sweaty and you stink a bit. Okay. But my feet never stink. And so I had these socks and I took them off and I went, oh my God, because they were all wet. They were soaked. But if you like cool weather, you like the mist, you like the rain, you like rough mountain roads, windy roads, coffee shops. There were a couple decent coffee shops there and a really relaxed atmosphere, then that's the place to go. It's a great place to go. It's a place to get away from the city. That's in its most simplest terms. But if you're expecting abandoned mines, well, I did see some rusty machinery. But if you want to see a town that's like, it goes back 50, 60 years, and it's the mining town, that's not what it is. You're going to be disappointed. And one thing I would recommend is do not go on the weekends. Because if you go on the weekends, there's going to be loads of tourists. Because I was leaving, and there were so many tourists there. Now, I would say about 95% of them were Thai tourists. Now, they're very nice. They're very polite, and, that's fine. I understand. Personally, I don't like to be around Western tourists, and there were very few. There was one family, then they left, like, the first night. And then there was this guy, and I'm not going to say anything, but all I'll say is I went to go eat, and this guy's sitting in the corner. This guy's like 70 years old. Now, maybe he looks 70, but he was only 50. I don't know. But he's got his girl with him, his old Thai girl. She's like 40, 45. And he's making out with her in the corner of the restaurant. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't need to see this old guy making out with his chick, macking on her. Then he gets the beer. He's got a bunch of beers, and he's walking out. Okay, fine. Everybody drinks beer. And so he comes back. I'm just getting ready to leave, and he comes back. I didn't get any. I need some cups. I need some glasses. Do you have any glasses I can borrow? Like drinking glasses. And they go, no, but we have some paper cups we'll give you. And then, so they gave him some little tiny paper cups that he had a drink out of. He could have bought 2 plastic cups for probably 50 baht. So that kind of irritated me. When I look over and I see some guy, he's like 70 years old, and he's like macking on some chick. It's a little too much, But whatever, all right? I mean, I'm over it. And as a mining town, I did expect the town to draw tourists. And I wasn't sure about Western tourists, but there were, like I said, there was only him, and there was a family of maybe 8 or 10. And they left like right away. So I was like, oh, this is all right. But it's kind of a forgotten place by Westerners. You know, I mean, really. I walked around there. I didn't see anybody, you know, any Westerners, nobody like that. I went walking around in parts of the town. There was nobody there. Nobody. Maybe there was a couple of shops here and there, and there were, you know, people working there or something like that. And a lot of them were Burmese, or they're Burmese, and now they speak Thai. They've been living in Thailand and that kind of stuff. And I met a young man who was Burmese, and he had snuck into the country. Then he got out, and then he came back, and he had all his papers in line. So that was good. I never heard of it until the video. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have never heard of it. Even Thai people have not heard of Pilok. And I bought a coat from a Burmese woman, and I love that coat. That coat is badass. I like it. Now, I'm going to wash it, and it'll shrink just a little bit, hopefully, and that'll be perfect. I like that jacket. Well, you don't have to. There are places in Thailand that are pretty much forgotten by Westerners, and this was one of them. You don't have to go to Cambodia or Laos. Listen, Cambodia and Laos are, I mean, Cambodia's a good 10 years behind Thailand, 20 years behind Thailand, and it's never going to catch up. It's not going to catch up because they don't have the natural resources that Thailand has. They don't have a huge variety of destinations. And Laos, you know, it's a nice place. Oh, they got the Plain of Jars. You got Vientiane. You got, you know, this and that. And it is, listen, it's a good place. I mean, you know, maybe I should go there. Maybe I should go to Cambodia again, even though I've been there. I was talking to my buddy last night. He called me. He lives in Cambodia, but right now he's back home in the U.S. He was telling me about Cambodia. He loves it there. Now, he likes it. And I understand. But, you know, he and I know we've both been there. Both of us have been there probably 50 times. And I'm like, you know, I just don't really have a reason to go there. If I want to go and do a journey, then that's a different story, but I have to figure that out. And I know a couple. But there's still places in Thailand, and I'm still looking for them. And that's the thing. I'm still looking for places in Thailand to go that don't have many tourists. And I'll tell you what, there's not many places left. I mean, you know, you can always go out in the forest or something like that, and there's not going to be that many people, and, you know, you'll be all right. Oops. But, you know, I'm talking about towns, villages. I went to Umpang, and Umpang was fantastic. What tourists? There were no tourists. There were barely any Thai tourists. I didn't cut my trip short. What are you talking about? I was there for 5 days. That's all I wanted to do. I did exactly what I needed to do, what I wanted to do. Laos is too poor and a terrible government. This has probably never become second of first world unless China takes over. Well, that's true. And, you know, what is this? You know, I'll probably go to Laos again. I'll probably go to Cambodia again. I'll probably go to Burma again. But the truth is, I like going like little trips like this, like a little mini adventure, like a little mini journey. Not a journey where it's such a big deal to go there. I got to go, and it's like, all right, I'm not going to come here for a week or two. I got to stay here for like 2 or 3 weeks at least. You know, if I was to go to Africa, it's a plan. That would be a planned expedition. I would try to plan everything that I could. And that would still be an adventure. You know, because I didn't plan this at all. I didn't reserve any hotels. You can't fly. I took, what did I take? Let me think here. I took a taxi, the train, Song Tao, a minivan, a Rotu, Song Tao, motorcycle. Let me think. Motorcycle. Okay, then I got there. Then coming over to Hellfire Pass, you have to stop at Thong Pha Phum. So I took the Song Tao again. It never came out until we got to another town. That place is, you know, what is this? Laos is now full of ex-con American Laotians who were deported by Trump from America after living there most of their lives. Oh, come on. I haven't heard anything about that. Now, that may just mean that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, this is what I'm showing here. The Trump administration has escalated the deportation of Laotian and Hmong immigrants, resuming removal flights to Laos after years of repatriation limits. Deportation includes U.S. residents and those with criminal convictions, with high-profile cases such as a Minnesota man who was deported despite a state pardon making national headlines. Okay, well, you know, I can't worry about everybody that's being deported, and quite frankly, I don't give a shit. I mean, honestly, if they're getting deported, there's probably a reason. Yeah, here's one right here. This guy raped a young girl. Tu Liu Vang, an immigrant from Laos, faced deportation for a 2016 conviction of a first-degree criminal sexual conduct after doing that to a young girl. So, you know, I think that for all the people that are being deported, and they're just innocent little Americans now, I don't think that that's generally true. I understand that. I'm not saying they all are. But what I am saying is that I guarantee you more people that are being deported for legitimate reasons than are not than the ones that you're acting like, oh, well, you know, these people don't deserve to be deported. If they're there illegally, they deserve to be deported, period. That's my thoughts on it. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. And, you know, just because they're in America, if they have legal paperwork, then they should not be deported. But I would say that most of them that were deported probably are illegal or have been convicted of crimes or whatever you might want to say there. I don't know. And I don't live in America, and quite frankly, I'll tell you this, I just don't give a shit. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. I don't live there. It's your business. You want to do something about it, go ahead and do it. Listen, if they're legitimate and they got legal paperwork, I feel for them. But if they're illegal, I don't feel anything. Okay, well, but for some reason they decided that he was a danger. I don't know what to say, but you know what? Like I said, I've said many, many times, I don't care. And I don't want to veer from the topic of this stream and talk about that. So that's the end of it. Okay? We don't need to talk about that anymore. People who are legal and have done things the legal way, okay, hey, I can appreciate that. If you're illegal, well, then guess what? You got to go. And if you have committed crimes and maybe they didn't see the crimes until recently or something like that, that's a different story. And that needs to be looked at. Anyway, Pilok, forgotten little town. But Thais have not forgot it. So that I was wrong about. Are there Thai tourists there? Yes, there are plenty. I took some photos on the weekend of what the street looked like, and it was packed full of people. They were all Thais, okay? During the week, it was just, the street was fairly empty. But there was a lot of mist, there was a lot of rain, it was nice and cool. That's why I bought the jacket, because it was cool. I was like, you know what? I'll wear this all day long. I don't really care. I don't care how it looks. I like the look. Now, I also went to Thong Pha Phum. And I enjoyed that place, although that was kind of a hub for me to get around. It's not really a place where I would spend a week or 2 weeks or something like that. But it could be a good base if you're exploring the area. Because the place after this that I went, Hellfire Pass, there's no real lodging, no accommodation right in the immediate area right next to Hellfire Pass. You have to go to Hintok, which is, it's a fair ways away. And you have to get in these, what do they call them? Glamping. They're like, glorified camping grounds that have everything that you could possibly want. They're air conditioned and stuff like that, which, I've been in a tent that was air conditioned and it was great. It cost me $500 a night in Chumpon. But I didn't want to go, I didn't want to do that because it was like 3,000 baht. And I'm like, what do I got to pay 2,500, 3,000 baht for a place to stay when I can just go somewhere else? But I had been to Hellfire Pass before, and this was probably, for me, it was a bit of an a little emotional journey. It's kind of like Kanchanaburi, because everything there is set up for the war. And yes, you can commemorate the people who were fighting and the people who died. And I can appreciate that. But also, it is a bit depressing. And Hellfire Pass is a beautiful place. And they have it's called the Hellfire Interpretive Museum. And they have all kinds of photos, and they have, like you go to one area and then there's somebody talking. There's a little 10-minute film you watch about what they were doing and how things happened. And it was very interesting. Depressing. And they showed, okay, this is what you got. I think it was 300. You got every day, you got 350 grams of rice. And you got like a little, like this, of water. That's what you had to eat and to drink every day. And you had to work up to 18 hours a day. So, that puts it in perspective if you think about it. You're eating and drinking that little bit, and you had to scrounge and eat bugs and whatever else it would be. But the trail's interesting, but they have two trails. They have the long trail and they have the short trail. I did the short trail, but I went past the end of the short trail and went up to the viewpoint, which was very nice. It was a bit more, it was more difficult, definitely, because they said, if you want to go on trail number 2, it's about a 4-hour walk. And the Asian prisoners and the people that were helping them were called, what was it? Ramusha, I think it was. Ramusha or Rabusha. I think it was Ramusha. Yeah, Ramusha. And that means laborer. So all the Asians that were forced by the Japanese to work were called Ramusha. So the thing is that the Ramusha outnumbered the Westerners who were laborers. And they died. There was something like 90,000 people died. And, you know, most people know about the Allied POWs who built the Death Railway, but most people don't really know about the Ramusha, and their suffering, really all of their suffering was just, the Ramusha, their suffering was it was much less known than the Westerners, because the Westerners got a lot of press and things like that, but it was just a horrible place. I mean, really. And the reason it was called Death Railway is because they got the bamboo sticks. They had something on the end of it. They lit it on fire, whatever it was, tar or whatever. And they had all of them sticking up on the trail. So it's pitch black. You got to imagine, they didn't have lights. They're not like setting up street lights. So they have these things in the ground, and they're working away, slaving away. And all you see is the fire. And that's how come they called it Hellfire. Because of it was just like being in hell. That's what some of the prisoners said. That's why they named it that. And, yeah. Let's see. Wait a minute. Many of the world travelers who were at the World Cup matches are saying that they had been to over 80 countries and nothing is better than America. They make me appreciate my own country now. Well, I've always appreciated America. I mean, you know, it is the land of opportunity. It's the land of many things. $500, I don't know what I was talking about. I forget. Honestly, I forget what I was even referring to. Japanese didn't treat Asian. No, they treated them like crap. They treated all the people really horribly. Yeah, that's the thing, is that the Japanese were committing war crimes and they didn't care. So, you know. You think about it, and right now, and I've said it many times, we're a bunch of softies, man. We really are. We're a bunch of softies. We got it easy. We got it good. And, you know, and I'm not some tough guy who's like saying, oh, well, I'm better than this guy. No. We're all a bunch of softies. We all got it so easy compared to, I mean, look I'm sitting here, I got a fan on me right now, got the air con on. I'm sitting here relaxed, and, you know, drinking my coffee, chilling out. And, you know, in a little while, I got to go over to the mall, do a little grocery shopping. Our groceries are right there. I'm going to get everything that we need. Boom, I'll come back and, you know, do what I got to do. I got to make some food for me for the next 2 days. You couldn't do that back then. It was tough to do that. Even the refrigerators were different than they are now. Everything was different. And I, you know, bringing it back to my grandfather, I think about what he did. Man, he came up in 1944. That's 82 years ago. 82 years. I mean, think about it. I was born in 1962. In 1970, I was 8 years old. 100 years prior would have been 1870. Okay, let's say that it was 82 years. What would that be? That would be 82 years from 1970, 1882. 1882. Those were the times, That was still the Old West. They didn't have electricity. They didn't have it. So you think about now compared to in 100 years or 82 years, how things are going to be different. Now, I don't want to forget him. I don't know who his father was or his grandfather. I should probably try to find that out. But that's what I mean. And when I say I go there and I think about, well, you know, it's tied together. Everything is linked together. It's all. And, you know, the thing is that Kanchanaburi, forget about it, man. It's a tourist zone. But it is interesting if you've never been there. I would recommend everybody goes to Kanchanaburi once, Hellfire Pass once, and even Pilok once. Thong Pha Phum, you have to go there. If you're driving or you're taking public transportation, you have to go there. Because you have to get to the Songtao that takes you to Pilok. There is no direct... oh, yeah. I mean, think about that. I didn't even think about that. Listen, I've squatted on many a toilets. And, you know, not my favorite. Definitely not my favorite. But, you know, I can do it. You got to do what you got to do, you know. Well, that's a whole nother issue there, Bitmonger. Yeah, they hide a lot of things. They hid things about the Chinese comfort. Was it the Chinese comfort women or was it the Japanese comfort women? I can't remember, to be honest. But I remember them hiding that, or whoever it was hiding it. I think it was the Japanese hid it. Wait a minute. Yeah, they were predominantly from Korea and China, but also from the Philippines, Indonesia, and other occupied tourists. And the Japanese made them do that, and they denied that up until recently. Crazy, you know. So, you know, it makes you think about how bad things could be. I mean, in America, listen, nobody's attacked America. And I saw that there were some drones or something that were on Cuba. And Trump said, well, if we have to, we'll take care of it. You know, okay, fine. But, you know, since, what was it, the Cuba Missile Crisis, there hasn't been any threat. And, you know, people in America have been very fortunate. And people in other parts of the world have been fortunate. They don't even have any idea. Think about this. My kids grew up, and all they knew when they were at a young age, they just saw people with phones. So by the time they got to be, I don't know how old it was when we gave them a phone. I think it was like 10 or something. They were like, can I have a phone? Can I have a phone? And then I was like, you know, we need to get them a phone so that if anything happens, they can call us and tell us they have a problem. You know, we can try to work it out. They grew up with phones. They grew up with the internet. I didn't grow up with it. A lot of people out there didn't grow up with it. They didn't grow up with phones. Hey, how you doing there, Jim? So things have changed. Okay? And, you know, if you think about Kanchanaburi, walking over the bridge, now I forget how many it is, but I think 8 of the trussels are original and 3 of them were replaced. Where? Let me see, because I have this written down somewhere. Excuse me. Let's see here. Shit, I don't know where it is. Let me see something here. Let's see. I think it was okay. So about 75 to 80% of the steel bridge today is original World War II construction. There was an earlier temporary wooden bridge, and then they made the steel bridge. And the wooden bridge was about 100 meters from where the bridge is now. They built the permanent bridge, and okay, they had to replace the two angular straight-sided trusses in the middle. Those were post-war replacements. So that bridge is not 100% original. And the bridge was never moved, but it was just that there was a temporary bridge there. I think everybody needs to go to just to see it, just to be there. Take a ride on the river. Go on the river at least once. I've taken probably 5 trips on the river in longtail boats, and I think it's a good thing to do. You need to do it at least once. You need to go to the bridge. You need to go to the Death Railway. There's things that people need to do. And the thing is it's the Kwai Yai River. It's not the River Kwai. But they made it Kwai because the river changed its name, not the bridge changed its location. Let me see here. They renamed it to the Kwai Yai. And it was supposed to be River Kwai. So a little bit of, history. Anyway, that's something that, people should go and do. Go into the museums, just do that at least once. And I would say that the journey that I took is worth it for me. Because I'm interested in my grandfather and how it related and the war. And it's getting to be to where people aren't going to remember much anymore. I think almost all of the World War II soldiers are probably dead or near dead. And so what happens is people just, I hate to say it, but people forget. And we don't want to forget because we don't want to repeat history, right? But it's what happens, When I'm dead and gone, people will mourn me for a while, and then, after a while, you're just another ant in the colony. Now, was it worth the money? This was so cheap, I couldn't believe it. Okay, it was really cheap for me, and I'll get into that in a minute. But every stop that I went to was kind of different, and I took all kinds of transportation. Now, I got to Hellfire Pass because I took a bus. Okay, I took the Songtao to Thong Pha Phum. From there, I had to wait. Now, I was in this Thong Pha Phum, right where the Songtaos come and the buses go, and they just pull up, and there's a little 7-Eleven and stuff. And I get off of the Songtao, and I'm walking along. I think, okay, I got to get this red bus. And I'm like, I know it's down the street. We passed it up. The guy said he'll be here in 5 minutes. So I got a couple of minutes I got a couple of these little, rice things that have like salmon inside of them or whatever. Got a couple of those. I was eating it. And then I go, what am I missing? I know I'm missing something. I go, oh my God. I'm missing my camera. I don't have my camera. I forgot my camera on the Songtao. And so I'm like asking people, hey, is that Songtao coming back? Is that guy does he go back to Pilok? What's going on? Is he going to be here? Because the last time I left at 11:30, now it's 11 o'clock, quarter to 11, whatever. They go, yeah, he'll be back. And I'm like, I don't care if I got to sleep here tonight. I got to get that camera back because it has all my footage, and I'd lose out on about 20,000 baht. because the camera and everything else, it cost about 20,000 baht. And I was like, son of a bitch. I'm pissed off at myself. Meanwhile, I got to take a leak. I'm like, oh, I got to go. And I'm like, what if he comes back and he leaves? And I'm like, no, because I had to walk like 10 minutes away and 10 minutes back. I'm thinking to myself, I hope this guy, I hope I don't miss him, and I hope nobody steals the camera. Now, it's Thailand. I'm like praying that the Thai rules apply. Nobody's going to steal it. And so I'm done, and I'm like waiting. I'm standing there. I'm a little dejected, I'm like, shit, lost my camera. And then all of a sudden, I see this yellow song towel going by. I go, there's a yellow song towel. And some guy goes, that's the guy. Because I showed him a picture, because I have a picture of the guy. And so I looked, and I go, I think that is him. And he's driving away. And there's about 4 or 5 cars in front of him. So I start running. I'm running. And, I don't run really that well anymore. I used to run really well. Now, because of my hip and my age and weight and everything else, I don't run all that well. But I was like, I need to run and get to that song towel. And so there's cars in front of him, so he couldn't go, so he stopped. I'm running and running and running. Finally, I catch up. And I look, and I see the camera right there. It's got the selfie stick on it. I grab it. The guy sees me. He goes, like that. And I go, hey, thank you. That guy was great, man. And he was great the whole trip. But anyway, I got the camera. I go back. The bus is just pulling up. I'm like, perfect. I get in the bus. I go to Hellfire Pass. Now, I start walking, and I'm like, where is this place? I go, I don't remember it. I can't remember this place. So finally, I go back to the entrance, and I had been talking to the guy. He was a Thai kid. He was 30. That's what he was. He was 30 years old. I'm talking to him, and he says, where are you going? I go, I forgot which way to go. Do I go left or right? And he goes, you go left. And I go, oh, I went right. And I was like sweating, and I was like, oh, man. So I go back left. I get into the place. I go do the walk. I do everything. Very emotional. It's a traumatic experience to go see that, because you're reliving things that happened that were very negative in the past. I get done, and I'm getting ready to go, and I go, hey, what time does the bus go? Did I miss the 3 o'clock bus? He goes, yeah, actually it's 3:30 that the bus was supposed to come, but he came at 3:15. I go, oh. I go, so I got one bus left, right? The 5 o'clock bus? He goes, yes. I go, well, I guess I'll go wait over there, just get the bus. And the guy goes, well, I'm going to Kanchanaburi on my motorcycle. You want to go with me? He goes, I'll give you a ride. I go, okay. So we go all the way to Kanchanaburi, which was pretty cool. But on the way to Hellfire Pass, on this Songtao, we had to stop. It only takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. This took us 3 hours. And the reason was because a couple of trees had fallen in the middle of the road. I mean, big trees. They're like 50 feet, 100 feet tall. They fell. They're laying in the middle of the road. You can't go anywhere. So there's, cars lined up as far as you can see. Finally, the driver gets out, and I'm like, well, I wonder what's going on. So I get out. I'm filming it. I go over, and there's guys with machetes and axes, trying to break the wood, to break the tree. They're trying to cut through it. And it's taken them forever. I mean, they're really trying hard. Like 4 guys with axes trying to break apart the whole tree. Finally, they get it broken, and they move it. They didn't even move it out of the way of the other lane. It was laying in the one lane, going this way, but coming to where we were going, that lane was open. So everybody starts driving. We leave. And then the next thing I see is that the National Park Service had pulled up. And I hear the sound of a gas-powered chainsaw, and they just start cutting through the trees. But that, that could have taken us, I mean, that probably added another 45 minutes to our trip. So that was pretty interesting. And but anyway, the kid gave me a ride back. And what I remember is that as soon as I got there, I thought to myself, man, I am exhausted. I'm really tired. And it was from taking all the different steps in all the trips that I took and all the walking. I probably walked an average about 20,000 steps a day, anywhere from about 15 to 25,000 a day. That, and then taking the rides, and then, to be honest, it wasn't like I could eat a bunch of stuff that I really want to eat, like, oh, it's so high in protein, and oh, this is great. I got to have some Greek yogurt, and I got to have some, some beef burgers or a steak. No, it was all Thai food. And it was like I went to one place, and the lady goes, I go, what? Yeah, you got a menu? And she goes, no, we have quid tio here. We have boat noodle soup. That's it. I go, really? I go, can you make me an omelet? And she goes, all right, I'll make you an omelet. So she made me a 3-egg omelet, and then I had a quid tio with it. That's kind of how it was. And I went to another place, and I was like, what do they got here? It was like, pad this, pad that, cow pad whatever. So I'm like, my choices are limited. So I had some sausage with the fried rice or whatever. But the bridge, you got to go to the war cemetery in Kanchanaburi, and the death railway starts in that area. But, Pilok gave me the scenery. It was very beautiful. Thong Pha Phum was a very slow-paced town, but it was a bit of a hub. And I was very lucky because I got my camera back. If I had lost that camera, that would have really bummed me out. Hellfire Pass always puts things in perspective. Hey, things aren't so bad. I could be like these guys, And Kanchanaburi, it just, like I said, it's kind of depressing, but it reminds you why history matters, because you don't want it to happen again. And yeah, it was a weird, kind of a weird trip. I don't want to say there weren't any tourists, because there were. I was looking for a place that didn't have a lot of tourists. And they're not like Pattaya or Phuket or something like that, but they got plenty of tourists. And even Pilok, man, you go on the weekend, forget about it. It's going to, first of all, a lot of the rooms were full. Everywhere you look, it's a tem. They're full. Not only did I travel throughout Southeast Asia for 100 days without a credit card, cell phone, or computer, there were hardly any internet cafes back in 2000, 2001. Well, when I came over here it was 1994, I came in on my trips. In 1995, I moved here. I think it was 95. And there were no cell phones. I didn't have any cell phones. Some of the girls started having cell phones. And I was like, how come they got cell phones? And I'm like, man, these cell phones are expensive. I was like, what the hell? Back in the U.S., you get on a plan and you got the phone for free, and then you had to just, that's not how it works here. You got to buy the phone. And I was like, I don't want some little piece of junk, for $100. I wanted a nice phone. And I was like, that's going to cost me, Young Americans are embracing communism and socialism. They're going to repeat history in a bad way. I don't want to talk about that. Typical senior citizen forgetting stuff and has to pee. What can I say? And listen, I got to, I in the morning, I took the train from Kanchanaburi to Thonburi, because it goes to Thonburi. I get to Thonburi and I have to pee. because I had been sitting there the whole time. I hadn't peed since I left the guest house. And it was like a 3-hour trip. Plus, you got to wait, and that was another hour because I was there a little bit early. So 3.5, 4 hours. I hadn't taken a piss. I'm like, I need to take a pee. I go over, and I, do my business, take care of everything. I walk out, and I go, where's my phone? I go, son of a bitch. And I'm like, oh, no. And when I got off the train, I had walked over, put my phone down on this little platform where you sit down. You can sit, and the platform's behind you. And I put my bag down, and I started, rearranging some things and making sure that I didn't have to, I didn't have to carry as much stuff in my hands, and I just put the backpack on. For some reason, I left the phone there. And immediately, I start walking really quickly back. It's not that far. And this lady, she's in a state railway outfit, uniform. White shirt, blue pants. She walks up and she holds the phone up. And I go, that's mine. And she goes, here you go. I just go, oh, thank you. If I was in America, the phone would have been gone, the camera would have been gone, everything would have been gone. It was crazy. Kanchanaburi is a nice town to visit. The surrounding mountains are beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful area. But you know what? So is Suratani. My wife, yesterday she's like, should we go to Surat this weekend? I go, if you want. I go, well, tickets are 2,500 baht. I go, if you want, let's get them right now. Just me and you will go. She goes, well, I kind of want to think about it. And I just go, oh, God. This is what she always does. She waits and waits and waits. Then she'll go, okay, so let's go. And she wants to go like day after tomorrow, and the price is like 4,500 baht. And I'm like, I don't want to pay 4,500 baht. I like paying the 2,500. If you do it ahead of time, you might save a little bit of money. So now we might go next week. I don't know. But she wants to go. I wouldn't mind going because I want to catch up and do more video of what's going on at the farm now, because now we have the eggs. We not only have the chickens, but we have the eggs. And I need to film all this stuff and then kind of finish that up. But anyway, there's a bit of nightlife in Kanchanaburi town if you're into that. Well, I did go check that out. It's not much, though. I can tell you it's not much to speak of. In fact, I went into one place once, and I was like, the first time I went, I got myself a mojito. Now, I don't drink much, but I was like, give me a mojito. The second time I went, and I was dead. And I had a pizza, it was like a minute away from this place. So after I had my pizza, I walked over, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll get a beer. And I went, I'm going to feel bloated. I don't want to have a beer. I don't want to feel like, ugh. So I go, you got any coffee here? And the girl goes, yeah, we got coffee. I go, you got a bottle of water I can have? She goes, yeah. I said, okay. She comes over, brings me the bottle of water, brings me the coffee. I'm like, all right. I sit down with them. I start talking. There's a couple girls. I start talking to them. There's no customers in the place. I'm like, is it always this empty? She goes, high season, okay, maybe. It's better. But like around now, she goes, what surprised me is she said, they didn't have to come in. They don't make a salary there. She goes, we don't get a salary. We come in, and then we make money off the drinks, and we make money off the customers. Of course, they were trying to get me to go and all this other stuff. I said, no, I'm married. I just get it out there right away. I'm married. I'm not doing that shit. And most of them weren't very good looking anyway. But, they had like maybe 5 or 6 girls there. But like when I first went in, they had like 2 girls there. I'm like, it was like 9 o'clock. I'm like, but they had, there's probably about maybe 15 bars. There's a road. They call it Foreigner Road. The Thais call it Foreigner Road. And yeah, there's a fair number of bars there, but they're all, you know, they're not great. They're hole in the walls. They're all like hole in the walls. You know, there might be one or two that is kind of nice, but I didn't really hang out at them all that long. I just went and had a drink, then had my coffee. The next time I had a coffee and a water. And when I was done, I go, all right, I got to get out of here. I'm out of here. Bye. See you later. And that was it. So, don't go to Kanchanaburi for, oh, Sammy, how you doing? What's happening? So now I got to think about what's next. Now the real work begins because I've got hours and hours of footage. I mean, I had something like 300 clips, and some of them are like, 10 minutes. Some are 30 seconds. Some are 5 minutes. But I got a lot of footage. And I'm looking for, I've already started doing it. And it's going to take me a couple of days, but probably by Saturday I'll have something up. And, hopefully it'll be worthwhile. Hopefully you guys will like it. But I was wrong about Pilok. I don't want to make 1 3-hour documentary. That's not going to happen because people don't want to sit and watch 3 hours. Now, 20 minutes, yeah, maybe. That's, a little bit different. Pilok is beautiful. It's misty. It's got cool weather. There's a couple of decent cafes there. The people are friendly. I mean, why wouldn't they be friendly? You're their bread and butter. And like I said, if you want a quiet place to go and just hang out, it's what I would say is it's a quaint village. I wouldn't go expecting an abandoned mining town. Nature lovers, coffee lovers, people wanting a quiet weekend. You want to go with your girl or something like that, and it's raining in the morning, it's like, I'm telling you, 4 o'clock in the morning, it's pouring rain. I got footage of the rain, and it is some of the hardest rain. It reminds me of rain back in Florida. Here in Thailand, it rains like that usually in Bangkok, it rains for about, I don't know, maybe a half an hour. Heavy. And it stops. There's no more. But in this place, it was hours and hours and hours. I'll tell you something. And I shit you not. I looked, first of all, I'm in the hotel. It's a decent hotel. It was 800 baht a night, which for that area is mid-priced. There is no air conditioning. There's no air conditioning in any of the hotels there because it's cool. And there is a fan. And I had to turn the fan off because it was getting too cold. But I looked from my bed. And I looked down, and at where the wall meets the floor, there's water seeping out. I mean, it's not like pouring out, but it's just coming out a little bit at a time. I was like, son of a bitch. So I put my dirty towel there to tamp it up. And I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, it really rains here. So then a little bit later, the maid came, and she said, oh, you have water? And I said, yes. She said, wait. So she took my towels, because by this time I had put both towels down. I didn't have any clean towels. I put both towels down there. I'm like, I got to get towels from these people. I didn't even know if they had room service. It was the Love Guest House or something like that. And she comes in with this big towel or whatever it was, and she puts it down on the floor. She takes my dirty towels, and it seeped up everything from the floor. But then I was like, I put my hand on the wall, And I go, it feels kind of wet. I look at my hand, and there is moisture. It's wet all over my hand because it had been raining so much that the rain starts to seep through everything. And I'm like, oh my God. I could see I'd be sitting, just like what happened it was many moons ago. I was sitting in my bathroom. I don't remember if I guess I was taking a dump. And all of a sudden, the roof, it fell in. And I was like, what the fuck? Freaking out. And apparently, the top part of the roof had a hole in it and water was coming through. And it leaked onto the tiles. And then the tile just broke free. And another time, that happened to where it was leaking and a cat was running on the tiles inside. It had gotten in. And it broke through and the cat landed on top of our dresser. And as soon as it hit, because it was scared, it jumped up and right back in and then ran away and went out the hole, and then we had it fixed. But that's what it was doing in Pilok. It was, you put your hand on the wall and you got, I'm not saying it's completely soaked, but you got some moisture on your hand. It was really crazy. But like I said, don't go during the weekend. Would I call it an undiscovered place? No. To most foreigners, it is. The thing about Hellfire Pass, though, besides it being very emotional, you got the walking trail, you got the museum, and the heat is stifling there. The heat is so strong, and it's humid. And you think about, you're walking down, listen, I walked and filmed and went up to a couple places a little bit past the first trail. And, I had to climb up, there's rocks and there's steps and they try to make a little trail, but it's rough. It's not like a trail where you just take a couple steps, or it's not even like, oh, you've got to take a lot of steps. No, the rocks are not always in the right place. You got to watch your step. And if you fall, you might fall down the side of the mountain. So anyway, I would say by the time that I got to the end of the trail, the end of where I went, I was soaked in sweat. If you think about that, then you think about all the people who were working there. You get a better idea. That was nothing what I went through. Those people are busting their ass every day with one bowl of rice in their stomach and a little bit of water. No, not going until my dog passes. You can't bring him there. He's too old. Dog will freak out. Have you been to my hood, man, Pim? Yes, I have been, but it's been a while. Right next to I've been to Kanchanaburi. Good morning, Jim. Have you ever lived in arid climate? Yes, I have. Anywhere inland in Thailand is hot and humid. Yeah, and this is right on the, pretty much right on the border of Myanmar. Some of the places where I went, it's pretty gnarly. I lived in New Mexico for a while, and I was in Texas for a while, long time ago. But I was in New Mexico for many years. I wouldn't say many years, for about 2 years, and that was desert. And that was, it could be good, but man, the temperature there sometimes got to be like 115 degrees. It was gnarly. Far western tip of Texas is where I was. Colorado was 102. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't like really hot and I don't like really cold. But, you know, Kanchanaburi, worth visiting. Thong Pha Phum, listen, if you're driving, you don't need to stop there. You go to Pilok. If you're not driving, it's a little, you know, little town. And it's pleasant. That's the only way I know how to say it. Pilok, definitely, you got to go at least once. Hellfire Pass, you got to go at least once. So, like I said, I took the train, I took Songtown minivan, walked, motorcycle, I took a Samlor, and I didn't pay more than 800 baht for a room. I paid 600 baht and I paid 800 baht. Now, the total cost. I budgeted about 300 bucks. Well, 275 or something like that. I budgeted 9,500 baht. Yeah, I'm from Florida, man. I'm from a very hot, humid place. Okay, really. What is this? And Jacksonville feels like 110 days. Yeah, it gets really hot in Florida. It gets so hot that, you know, you walk outside. Like what I would do is I would just walk outside and I'd be like, son of a bitch, it's hot. And you just start sweating immediately. And that's why most of the time I don't ever wear long pants. I mean, I don't wear long pants here. Seldom do I wear long pants. Samlor, well, it was in Kanchanaburi. Nice guy. I did used to live in New York too. This nice guy was, you know, I was walking home to my room, and I had walked that day about 25,000 steps. I was beat, man. I was like, oh God, it's so hot, and I just thinking to myself, oh man, I would love to get a ride back. And all of a sudden, this guy goes by in the Samlor, and he goes, "You want ride?" And I go, I'm gonna walk. And I went, you know what? Okay. I go, how much? He goes, 40 baht. I go, okay. We get there. I gave him 50 baht. He was an old guy. He was 70 years old. And then, you know, he's getting ready to leave, and I go, hey. I go, listen, I got to leave tomorrow morning. I got to take a minivan. I said, I need you to take me to the bus station tomorrow morning. Can you be here right at 8 o'clock? He says, yes. It's like a motorcycle with a sidecar kind of thing. It's like a cage, but it's all connected. And he says, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, okay. So he came the next morning. I told him, be there at 8 o'clock. I said, if you're here at like 8:05, I'm gone. I said, I can't wait around for you. Yeah, you know, whatever. Nice little way to go for a ride, but anyway. I said, if you're late, I'm not going to wait for you. He says, okay. He's there at 7 o'clock. I go out to, what was I doing? I went to go get a coffee or something. Because the hotel gives you free coffee and like free breakfast. Breakfast is like a bowl of joke or what is it? What's that other one, Nicholas? Not joke, but khao tom. and maybe some bread, stuff like that. That was it. I mean, it was pretty small, but whatever. I went out to get a cup of coffee. I'm having my cup of coffee, and I see the guy pull up. I go, he's here an hour early. I go, I don't need to go now. I'm like, all right, whatever. Billy says hello.
Oh, hello, Billy.
Hello, Billy.
What's up?
What's up? Don't let the... Hey.
I know.
Turn that on. What's going on here? Get out of here, you rat. The rat cat. Nicholas is going to school. He's got his Punta Cana shirt on.
Yeah, so.
I think it's cool. Yesterday, your mother said, when I win the lottery, we're all going to go to Punta Cana and stay in that resort where I stayed because that was the best place I've ever been. I go, okay. And, it's funny because she says that she just might win. She's already won, like, how many times? Like 6 times?
Twice?
No, not twice, buddy. I hate to tell you. You don't know. The last one was 24,000. The one before that was like 8,000. And I'm like, I need my cut. I get a 25% cut. Kids get 25%. You get 50%. She never did give you your cut, but she gives you your cut in other ways. So you just have to just endure that. All right, so you're off?
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you later.
Bye, Billy.
Bye, Billy. This cat is not new. This cat's been here for a year now. So anyway, interesting trip, interesting journey, but yeah, I'm hoping my wife does win the lottery. I bought a lot, I'll tell you my luck. I get to Thong Pha Phum and I think, oh, there's a lottery lady right here. I went, you know what? I don't usually buy them because the chance of winning is next to nil. I don't know how, but my wife has won like 6 times. She wins like 10,000 baht, 14,000 baht, 6,000 baht. She won 24,000 baht the other day. And I'm like, I'm here. I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. I buy the lottery ticket, and I went to throw away the bus ticket, and I threw away the lottery ticket too. I won once, and it was something like 1,200 baht or something. And that was it. Oh, God. She hit the lottery when she married me. Oh, yeah. The same could be said for me. I won the lottery when I met her. She wins, she's going to drag you back to CASHAPP. No, I don't want to go to CASHAPP. I'll tell her to go somewhere else. There's some places that I'd like to go. I know we want to go to Greece. She's like, well, are we still going to go to America? And I'm like, well, I'm going to go. I don't know if you guys are going to go because I don't know if you can arrange it all. But I need to go. I need to get to America. I need to get back and see my parents. And, if her and the kids go, well, then good. If they don't, oh well. It's the way it goes. But CASHAPP, I really don't want to go back there again. Or Kochang, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there again. I've been to these places. I want to go to Kobulon Leh, which is down by Satum. It's a bit of a journey. And I'd like to go and explore the 3 provinces, Patani, Yala, and Narathiwat. I want to go do that. I want to go to Ranong. I like border towns. I do like that a lot. And I like some of the islands. But most of the islands, I like to go to Toratau. Maybe. It's a fine line now when you really think about it. It's a fine line about places that don't have people, but that have a little bit built in so that you can get what you need when you're there. I've been to places before where you're looking for food, and there are almost no restaurants. I mean, there was plenty of street food in Pilok, But you're looking for restaurants. There was probably 3 or 4 restaurants all along that street. And the one place only had quid tio. You know, they might have made you some fried rice or an omelet or something. The other place I went were these 3 girls that I met. They were on the, what was it? They were on the song towel, the yellow song towel. You got to get a yellow song towel from Thong Pha Phum. They were on the yellow song towel, and I started talking to them. And then, you know, they want to know about me, and we talked for a while. They had a hotel, and their hotel just turned out to be right across from my hotel. So I start talking to them. Then, you know, I'm walking along, I bump into them. Then later on, I see him again. So, you know, it turns out we talked for a while, but they had a restaurant there I didn't know about. Little restaurant. Probably seated about 12 people. 3 tables. It was fantastic. It was the best food that I had in all of Pilok. That's the catch with places that don't cater to a lot of tourists. Slim pickings when it comes to food. Well, I could have brought some of my own food. I could have done that. I could have brought, you know, tuna, protein bars, protein shake. I could have brought a bunch of. I could have brought yogurt if I really wanted, but I would have had to keep it cold until I got to where I had to go. So yeah, that can be a little bit difficult. Yeah, but you know, I mean, I was hungry, and I was like, man, I don't feel like walking around looking for food. So I had a roti. The guy's like, what do you want in here? I go, just egg. And then I go, put some cheese on there. And he's, you know, just about done, and I go, you know what? Put some of that strawberry jam on. So I had a roti with strawberry jam and egg and cheese. And it was pretty good. But, you know, there was a dog that was hanging out, and he wanted some food, and I was like, no, you ain't getting any, man. You ain't getting any. Next thing you know, I give him like a quarter of it. He ate a quarter of my roti. Umpang was, and Kaulipe was great for food. It was fantastic because I got everything I needed pretty much. Umpang, not so much. That was a bit harder. And this place was, I didn't really see any foreigner food there. There might have been some there, but I didn't see any. I looked at about 3 menus, and I didn't see any foreigner food. Nothing. No burgers, no BLT, nothing. They did have French fries at one place, which is good. That was, you know, Farang food. Let me see something. Yeah. So anyway, food is something, but the main thing was the rain. I was very fortunate that I brought my umbrella, and I also bought a raincoat, but I didn't even take the raincoat out. I just used the umbrella, and it worked fine. And what was funny is I thought to myself, there is no way. The ground was a little bit flooded, so your feet get wet. And there's a couple people walking around. They got their umbrella. They're using their umbrellas. I'm like, well, where am I going to go? How can I do? And I just thought, well, I'm just going to walk in the rain. Like the coffee shop across from our hotel would shut. When it rained, it would just shut down. They just close the doors. You can't have coffee now. As soon as it stopped raining, they opened the doors up again. You know. So that's the main thing you got to think about is the rain and the mist. The mist makes it kind of hard to see, and you know, it seemed like there's a lot of people there with like, you know, their 5 old lady Thai friends. You know, and they're just you're not going to find a pastrami sandwich there, buddy. Sorry, it's not going to happen. None of that. Although they did have smoothies, strawberry smoothies and mango and all that other stuff. But I don't drink that. I'm not gonna drink that. And listen, when I was in Pilok, I thought to myself, man, I don't want to eat bread for breakfast. I don't want to have kautam. I don't want it. I just was like, no, I need a real breakfast. I need a real lunch. I need real food. But I never got it. And then I went to Thong Pha Phum. I had Japanese, the little triangles made of rice with meat inside of it. I had 2 of them. That tided me over. I brought jerky with me. That was gone. Then I got back to Kanchanaburi and I had a pizza. There's a little pizza place right around the corner, and I didn't feel like walking. I was like, I'm stopping right here, man. I got a pizza. And it was great. Yeah. Yeah, well, when you can't get it, what good is it? What good's a pastrami sandwich with provolone if you can't get it? It makes no sense. I love pastrami. I love roast beef. I love all that kind of stuff. I like salami, but I don't eat it much. But I'll eat it for sure in a pinch. I love a good sandwich. But if they don't have it, and it's not like there's a Lotus you can go to and go grocery shopping. You're going shopping at places that are selling chips, and they're selling all kinds of Thai bubble drinks and jelly drinks, and they're drinking. They've got all that kind of stuff, but they don't have any really solid food. Sammy, you're back. Loves me a good sandwich. I'll never forget finding a Pizza Hut in Baghdad, exact same replica of Pizza Hut sign and markings. Pizza not even close, but edible. But I don't need it. Well, I don't need a lot of things. I've been dying for, they have these little cookies here. They're about that big. And they're like an Oreo, except they're made of, I don't know what they are, but they're not black. They're like tan. And in the middle, they have a little pineapple, like a little chunk of pineapple that's like chewy, and it's not like pineapple, but it's pineapple. It tastes like pineapple, and it's really good. And they'll give you like a bag of them, and every time I would get them, I just eat them all. But I haven't been able to find them anywhere. And now I'm like, no, they're not vanilla wafers. Bangkok has good sandwiches, and most of the time they cost you an arm and a leg. Now they're starting to cost you $2.99, $3.99, stuff like that. I'm gonna buy some burgers today because I eat a lot of burgers because it's ground beef, and I throw it in the air fryer. Thank you, Billy. Billy's air fryer, but I guess he didn't use it very much, but now I've used the piss out of it. If it ever broke, I'm going to buy myself a bigger one, and those things they're a godsend. So I get like a dozen burgers, and they're like 1,000 baht. It's 1,038 baht. You go in the Marriott Hotel on I think it's Soy 2. Marriott Hotel has a New York steakhouse in there. It was fantastic. Oh. Okay. Also, I have ground lamb in the freezer, and I have 2 lamb chops. I'm going to buy 4 more lamb chops. Not going to buy any more ground lamb, and I'm going to get the burgers. And then I'm set for the next 2 weeks. And by then, I'll be thinking about I'm already thinking about it now. But I want to figure out where am I going to go next. And I had an idea. I just don't remember what it is right now. It's 1,038 baht, and they're on sale from, it would be 1,140 baht, but now it's 1,038. That's at Bangkok Bob's. Bangkok Bob has some great beef. Yeah, they have Australian Wagyu. They have all kinds of stuff there. They've got a lot of things there. It's like some people use Paleo Robbie, which I don't really like it. It's just bit expensive. And there was another one. I can't remember what it was. Jono gave me the name of it. And then there was another one other than that, and I used it a couple of times. But most of the time I use Bangkok Bob's. And we got food here, so, I'm good. We got some protein. The protein, Jesus Christ, the protein's expensive. Alex buys his protein weight gainer, and it's how much? I think it's 1,500 baht or something. If you get the whey isolate, oh my God, man. It's like, it's not as much as what he gets, and it's more money. It's double the price. I don't count on Jono to cook for me. That's the thing. I just don't. I can't do it. He hadn't cooked me a pizza in forever. And, I don't mind it. Now, if he wants to cook me a pizza, if I happen to be there, great. If not, I don't care. Anyway, listen. It's time to go. That's the trip wrap up. It is what it is. I had a great time, even with the Thai tourists, even with there being more people. Now, when I went to Hellfire Pass, there were foreign tourists, a lot of them, a fair number of them. But I was able to walk on the trail. Like when I got past the end of the Trail 1 and went to Trail 2, there was nobody. I was all alone. So, anyway, thank you very much. Hopefully there'll be a video on Saturday. Maybe I'll stream on Sunday. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who came in today. But I was wondering, one last question. Would you rather see projects where I'm traveling around, where I spend several days getting to know an area, or would you prefer, do you prefer a couple of hours where I'm doing walk and talk videos in Bangkok? Because I know which one I like. And also, where's a place that you visited that turned out to be completely different from what was expected? If you want, leave a comment down below and let me know the answer to these questions. I'd appreciate it. But anyway, that's all I have for now. My coffee is done. I'm ready to bail. So, I'm Scott. I'm an American back in Bangkok. Until next time, take care. Chokdi. Later, Jim. Later, Billy. Later, Sammy, Gabe. Let me see here. I'm just here for the experiences. Me too. That's why I'm in Bangkok. Anyway, Chok Di Leo Jerkan Mai. That means good luck and see you again. I will talk to you all later. That means good luck and I'll see you again. I already said that. Anyway, take care. I'll talk to you.